folks, welcome back to GDI's Command Post. Today I'm bringing you a Tier 10 match in my E50M. E50M, I kinda am not very impressed with it over the E50. I think the E50 is a tier for tier better tank. The E50M has exactly the same armor. It does sit a little bit lower, so the sloping is a little bit better. But considering you're in a Tier 10 match, you know, what does that really account for? So, you know, you got Tier 10 tank destroyers that are going to be shooting at you. Some of the Tier 10 heavies, that sloping doesn't really make up that difference. The gun, on the other hand, is much better. It's from .32 accuracy to .3 accuracy, which is very good. The penetration is much better, so most of the tanks that I want to shoot at is, you know, it's much easier to penetrate as opposed to the Tier 9 gun, or the E50's gun, where, you know, I could be shooting at the commander's cupola of, say, a Tier 10 heavy, and I'll bounce shots off at this tank. I don't have that issue, and I have the accuracy to back it up. So I'm trying to hold back a little bit. I don't want to get up here too fast and be by myself, so I'm waiting for that M103 to catch up. What tank is that behind me? Tiger 2, he's not going to help out much. And the Batchet's just going down the middle. And I see what he's trying to do. I know he's trying to scout, but, you know, it's a good way to get lit up really early in the match. It's not going to benefit us to have him up there scouting anybody. Nobody's going to be looking at him. Maybe they already will, but this is post 8.6, so they're not going to be able to sight in before. I'm sure half of them weren't even reloaded while he was up there. Alright, so we know there's an M103 up here. And I do have 6th Sense in this tank. I have camo on 3 of my crew members, along with camo on the tank. And the tank doesn't have a great camo rating, but it's good enough that I haven't been spotted yet. And I won't be spotted for a little bit. And this, like, I have no problem. I don't even have to aim anywhere on this tank. Just that front plate is, you know, it's flushed at me. Put one right through his gun mantlet there. I'm not worried about aiming anywhere on that tank. Got him down to 53% already. AC mile 48 on my left is down. I forgot entirely to aim it as a lower plate there, but he's far enough away it's going to be hard to do. But I will take advantage of that object. And the kill shot.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
You shall not pass. I'm going to have trouble penetrating this guy, but I will take the blind shot. Tried to anticipate him moving back and shooting at his lower plate. And I don't want to move up here to help out that Tiger 2. Helping out that Tiger 2, just, what's it going to accomplish? He's a Tier 8 and a Tier 10 match. Saving his life won't really do anything. That, and there's too many tanks around him that I know, and the M103 just went down. So now I'm by myself, and I know this. That Artie's kind of on his own. It's not going to help out our team to save him, so I'm not going to. You know, I'm not saying I'm not going to save him. I will try to come back and, you know, put fire down for him, but if he doesn't move out of the way in time, then it's, you know, putting myself in between 3 tanks, one of them being an object. It's not going to accomplish anything. And he's gone now, so the Batchet's tracks ate it, so now I'm going to try to angle my armor towards his front, which worked. Bounce shot, or bounced the one shot. So now I'm going to try to get around. I don't want to be out here in the open. I want to try to get around this hill, get myself already safe, and put myself in a position to stand between the M103 and our object 212 Alpha. And there he is.
Enemy armor is damaged.
So that definitely kept him back a little bit. Let's see if I can put another shot into him. One more shot and he's gone. So that's what I'm going to try and do here. I may take a hit from the object and the Tiger 2 are coming around, but I'm not worried about it. It's worth taking him out of the game. And there he goes. So now I want to get spots on whoever else is coming up, and there they are. Tiger 2 misses, which I wasn't worried about him penetrating me anyway. So now I'm going to try to put one into this guy's track, which worked. He used a repair kit. So now I know if I can just track him one more time, I can take advantage of it. So here, I made a little bit of I anticipated him a little bit. His turning radius, and he did turn a little wide, and that got me in the position to get around the side of him. And now I know I can just run circles around him. Fortunately, I'm a victim of my own team here, because you're going to see a couple times I got, like, for example, the 212A, I saved his life, and he repays me by tracking him. And their arty is on my side, so they don't have to worry about hitting me, or hitting their teammate. So I'm going to put one more into the back of him, and then the IS-3, who's done nothing to help me, is going to steal the kill. But as long as he's dead. Alright, so now I know I've been spotted, so I'm just trying to act a little erratically, or unpredictably. And now I think my camel's come back, so I'm going to make a beeline down the one line and try to get spots on their arty, because I'm willing to bet that one of them is down the one line. And he would have to be. I mean, look at where that friendly tank just got knocked out. The best place for him to take shots is somewhere down A1 to 3. So at least one of them is down here. And I know this. So I know if I stay down here, it'll keep me from being spotted until I'm as close as possible. Although with the accuracy of this tank, I'm not too worried about it. So there's the T-92 who's been spotted. So there's still a possibility that the one tank is left on this side, and I still think he is because of where that friendly tank went down. There he goes again. The object would have to be over here to make that kind of shot, for one, and for two, to do it without being spotted. So I'm going to still keep looking for him. And there he is. So I missed my top gun by about 400 damage between the two objects, basically. But I'll take what I can get. A win is a win, so that's always good. So now for a little post-game analysis. We can see here that I did 1,677 experience, first mastery badge, and sniper. That's the kind of experience you'd expect out of a tier 10 match, even with 5,600 damage. We can see here, sorry, 5,400 damage. But we can see here that, you know, I wasn't the only person on the team doing anything. The people in the city definitely, had they not been there, we would have had a much harder time. Them being there allowed me to just focus on my flank without having to worry about taking shots on my side. So that always helps to have a team that knows what they're doing. We can see their team. You know, they didn't play a match completely god awful. I mean, a couple of them did. You know, had I not been there, I was putting shots on that object. The first shot I put into him, I didn't even know I did it. Actually, we check that out here. Where is he? Yeah, I put 3 shots into him. So that first shot that I took at the other object that was over there actually went into him. So that was definitely, you know, it was a good gun to take out of the game. He's tier 9 tank destroyer, he needed to go. So, but, you know, so he could have done, you know, I don't know what kind of player he is. He might have done much better had I not been there. And having between him, the other object, 268, that were over there, you know, that would have been, and the M103, who did the best damage on their team, and probably would have done more had I not taken him out. You know, that side could have easily rolled up had I not been the last line of defense, because all that went over there was we had our M103, the Tiger II, and T92, which, you know, I wouldn't expect him to go tank destroyer mode and carry that side of the match. But, so yeah, I mean, it definitely helps to have a team that knows what they're doing. I will say that. And me being where I was kept them from having to watch their sides, so that always helps as well. Where's that Bat Chat? Yeah, the Bat Chat died without doing anything, and that I expected. You know, he wasn't playing fairly well from the very start. It is what it is. But I already mentioned that in the replay, so I won't beat on that anymore. But we can see here that I did 18 for 18 shots that were hits. The 2 blind shots that I took they did hit, but they didn't penetrate. And against the tank I was shooting at, the object, you know, his lower plate's a fairly small target, and it seemed to be a little bit covered up by the terrain. And, you know, taking a blind shot on that small of a target that's already covered up, I wouldn't really expect to do penetrations, especially at that range. But, you know, I'll take what I can get. I still did 5,400 damage, so it definitely helped out our team by taking out some of those stronger tanks. And they were at our doorstep. They were at the flag, and that's where we beat them back. The M103, the Tiger II, and the object all made it right to the side of our cap, and that's where we beat them back. So it's a good thing we did that. So, what do I think of the E50? Well, honestly, I don't think it's as good tier for tier as the E50, or the E50M isn't as good as the E50. It sits a little bit lower, has slightly better sloping, but it's like, you know, 2 to 5 degrees against tier 10 tank destroyers that are just going to punch holes in anywhere on this tank. So it's not worth enough. The gun is much better, has a better aim time, I believe a better aim time, definitely better accuracy, definitely better pen. And that always helps. I mean, you can see there the Tiger II, I wasn't even worried about, you know, his armor. It was facing pretty much flush at me, but you know, either way, I put one through his gun mantle without even worrying about it. What else? The turret traverse is better. So there at the end where I was flanking that object 268, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I been in my E50, or I would have had trouble doing it anyway. So, you know, and the penetration, I think that's really where this tank is, you know, its best upgrade is, because, you know, the tier 9 version of this tank, there's occasions where I'm trying to shoot at the commander's cupola of a heavy tank or something like that, and I bounce or whatnot because I don't hit it flush on. And this tank just doesn't have that problem, and so that's always good. But other than that, I feel like there just isn't enough upgrades from the tier 9 counterpart. And tier for tier, the E50 is just much better. If you noticed, I don't play this as a dedicated sniper like I do the E50. You notice on the E50 I have camo nets, on the E50M I don't. That's actually something I might be changing, I'm thinking about doing. You know, because really this tank is more opportunistic as a flanker. I mean, that's kind of the way a flanker is. It's opportunistic. You don't just go in like, you know, say the Bat Chat did early on and see if you can flank people by yourself. It doesn't work that way. So I think really to be a good opportunistic flanker, you know, I should take advantage of what this tank does, or also does well, and that's snipe, because it's got the most accurate gun in the game, 0.3 accuracy. It's got a pretty good aim time, pretty good rate of fire, you know, over 6 rounds a minute. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be taking advantage of that, and I think that's kind of been my mistake up until now. And so that's why I'm really thinking about going back to camo nets, because the aim time and the accuracy, you know, right now I got vertical stabilizer in place of camo nets, and between the aim time and the accuracy, the E50M, it really doesn't need it unless you're on the move, and that's really why I put it on there. It's because I anticipated to use this thing being completely mobile, and since I'm not really playing that as mobile as I'd like to be, you know, because there's really, I have to wait for opportunities to arise where I can start to get around tanks. Like that object 268, I wasn't going to try and just get around him from the start, he made a mistake and I took advantage of it. So the Batchet, he made a mistake, I took advantage of it. That's kind of how flanking should happen. So I think in order to wait for that, to wait for opportunities like that to come up, I should be able to take advantage of sniping. And to do that, you want to stay as stationary as possible and as hidden for as long as possible. And I feel like the camo nets would be a much better fit for this tank, especially with the gun depression of the German tanks. So I don't really want to be moving a lot, and that's where the camo nets would come in really handy. But, so there's my opinion. Overall, I just don't think it's one of the best tier 10 tanks to have. Definitely, I don't want to give the impression that I don't like the tank. It is a good tank. It's just not the best one, in my opinion. Anyway, so that's my E50M gameplay. Anyway, until next time, you guys take it easy.